All right, we're recording. All right, let's start off. Tell us your name.
My name?
Yeah?
Honey, now don't be off.
That's part of him, though, right? Gotta get a good representation of Pete.
My name is Jose. I am Pete.
First and last name, please, and date of birth.
Oh, God damn it, is this serious?
Yeah?
Yes.
Better start it over.
Pete Stec.
Date of birth?
7/16/37.
Tell us about your parents a little bit. What were your parents' names?
Anton and Agnes.
And where'd you go to high school?
St. Agnes Academy, Alliance, Nebraska.
And when did you graduate?
That's a personal question.
He didn't.
1955.
Why don't you tell me about your favorite memory of growing up on the ranch?
Going to the bathroom.
That's
They're filming this.
oh,
They are?
that's a tough one, Andrew. I don't know how to answer that. A lot of good memories.
Well, tell me about, well, this might not be a good memory, but tell me about the deal with your eye on the ranch. Tell me about that story.
The eye?
You have.
Oh, what? You mean the one? Well, you found out in grade school, 8th grade nurse checked my eye and found out I only had one eye. Is that what you're talking about?
How did it happen with the boys that you lost one of your eyes?
Oh, no, that isn't the way I was.
Oh, really?
No.
That's what we would like to know.
One eye is trousers.
What we was talking about, the haymow deal, that's...
Brown eye.
We were playing in the haymow and we were crawling the walls.
How old were you?
I don't know. I was still in grade school. And one of the boards come loose and I fell down to the ground and was knocked out. And Stanley and Tony, I think we were there, took me back and we had a hammock by the Green Chicken House. And that's where they put me and I come to later and I forget what the end result was.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.
We, I think Mom scolded them, but that's all of that.
Mom scolded him.
Oh. What do you want to do, beat him?
Well, I'd like to know more about details of growing up on a ranch. Why don't you tell me one of your favorite memories of your dad?
Oh, he made us do chores. Chores were always, morning, night. That was just like
What
sun
kind of
coming
chores?
up.
What kind of
Milking, feeding the calves or feeding the chickens, feeding the pigs. That were done on a daily basis. One thing about, and we of course always, worked in the hayfield in the summertime. We never did. Sunday was always a free day. We had to do.
What did you guys do after church on Sundays?
Came home, always had a big dinner, and just kicked back and done whatever we wanted to, more or less. But
What would that be? Riding horses or
well,
relaxing?
riding horses, maybe go to a movie. That didn't happen that often. But
Where'd you go to movies at?
Long Pine had a theater. And we used to have the Pine View Drive-In. Let's see. Once in a while we'd go to Bassett Theater.
There's a
also,
theater in Bassett too.
if I remember right. I remember Tony, when he was dating Dolores, like on Sunday, he'd get Stanley and I to want to go to the movie, and he then would go to town and see his girl, and we'd all go to the movie.
So, Tell me about one of your favorite things about your mom, or some of the food that she cooked and things like that. What's your favorite food that she cooked?
Well, about everything she cooked.
What'd she make for your birthday? Did she make anything special for your birthday?
Oh, birthdays weren't a big deal for us, really. She always made angel food cakes with boiled frosting.
What's boiled frosting?
I don't know, it's a white frosting, boiled with sugar or whatever, and it's looks like Miracle Whip today, or not Miracle Whip, whipped cream.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we always had the real whipped cream. And Mom was always a good cook. I mean,
Any food you miss that she used to cook that you don't get anymore?
Oh, Rose is a good cook, so whatever. But you know, Mom had her way. Whether it was potato salad or fried chicken or
Any
summertime.
special Polish dishes that you had, or?
No, not really. We used to have, when we'd butcher, we'd have side meat, which you don't have anymore. I mean, it's there, but you don't eat it that much.
Right. And how often did you guys see Uncle Andrew's family?
Oh, that could be a Sunday festivity deal. Sometimes they'd come over, or we'd go over to their house, and it'd be a Sunday dinner type deal. They'd show up, and we'd all eat together. Or maybe a couple Sundays later, we'd go over to their place.
And what was Uncle Andrew like?
Uncle Andrew was a very energetic guy. The little bit I know about him, he was a lot of fun to be around.
Tell me about when you graduated, then did you come back home for a while, or did you go straight out into the workforce and do your thing when you got out of high school?
I came back home, and summertime we of course worked in the hayfield, and after that I went to Chadron State one year and didn't know what I wanted to do, so finally decided I was going to go out and get a job. And Pauline and John were living in Denver, so I ended up heading out to Denver. And that's where I left the territory, so to speak. Went out there a year and then came back for a while, and then went out to Denver permanently next year, I think, whatever.
And when did you meet Rose?
Met Rose in Denver. Don't remember the exact year. Met Rose at a Newman Club meeting, Catholic deal.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about the first time you brought Rose back to the ranch.
I think about the first time I did, we came in on the highway south of Bassett through Taylor, and I was telling her we were coming on the highway, and of course it was a gravel road, and Rose said, well, this isn't a gravel or a highway to me, this is a gravel road. She thought we was coming to the Tules.
Who all was home when you brought her back?
I don't remember for sure. I don't.
They treat her all right?
Oh yeah,
They didn't take care of their baby son or anything? They didn't overly protective or anything?
No, it worked out very well.
And how did you get from Denver to Ogallala?
From Denver to Ogallala, we made that move when Jeff, golly, I don't even know what age he was, but he was
What year was it when you moved?
75. And I wanted to get more involved in the agriculture real estate. We wanted to raise the boys in a less populous atmosphere, and so that's how we ended up in Ogallala.
How is it that you were the only son that got sent to boarding school? I guess Leah went for a little bit, I have since learned, since I wrote this, but...
Oh, I assumed Pauline was living there, and it was an opportune time, and they was willing to let us board with them, and so and Bernice went there previously, and it worked out, I guess, good. So Mom and Dad thought it was a good deal if I would do the same, as did Teresa.
Any other stories you want to share with us about trips or things you guys did or growing up on the ranch special that people don't experience now?
Well, I guess when we was growing up, again, we had our chores, and we didn't have I remember when we got electricity into the house and running water.
You know what year that was, or?
Well, again, I was in grade school. I'm guessing on this, I think we got electricity in '49.
And was there already a phone then too, or is that when you got the phone too?
Well, there was a phone. I don't exactly remember. There was always some kind of a phone service. Sometimes it wasn't very good, but we had a service. But again, one of the things that one of our chores when we didn't have one of our chores was to bring water from the windmill to the house for drinking water through like a 5 or 10 gallon cream can on the coaster wagon. That was one of our kids' chores.
Anything else you want to add that you want your descendants to hear about?
I'm not too good on interviewing, so I can't.
Well, you tell us pretty good stories the other day.
You can interpret those and make notes of those.
Were you there the first time somebody else brought their significant other home? Situations where you can say that was pretty funny the first time they brought Bill out there. Of course, my dad grew up around a farm, so he was probably fine with that there. I suppose.
Yeah, no, I don't remember anything too significant.
No good practical jokes on anybody, huh?
Yeah. I do remember when Bernice and Harold got married, we kind of had a little fun with them, but that was when they got married.
Where'd they get married, in Long Pine then too?
I think so, yeah.
At the church
in
Long Pine?
Yeah. But no, nothing. Nothing too memorable.
Well, very good. I didn't mean to take up your whole day, but thank you. Tell me about going to school on the horse and stuff. I saw pictures of you riding with Stanley, I guess, on.
That was going to the country school, District 44. That was our grade school.
How far away was it?
2.5 miles, uphill both ways.
In the snow?
In the
Against
snow.
the wind? And did you guys ride the horse every day, or was that just some days when they...
No, I mean, we did ride the horse quite often, but and we'd double up 2 or 3 to a horse depending on what was going on, or we did get taken to school once in a while too if it was available. But
when did you folks, they probably always had a car when you were around, huh?
yes, they did, right. And in wintertime, we got snow days today, but our snow days was riding in the bobsled covered up with blankets, because we made it to school one way or another.
And did you ever ride on the horse with Tony? My mom was telling me about that he used to do tricks on the
He
horse.
had the horse named
Judy.
Judy that would rear up, and we would sometimes get involved with kind of little activities on the way to or from school.
Racing, or...
Well, no, either that or we'd go. Other kids rode horses to school too, and a lot of times from school we'd go west to the mailbox, and then other families would go north and we'd go south to go home. And once in a while we'd have little gatherings at the mailbox and just talk the day out or whatever before we'd split and go home on the horses.
Then you went to that school till you through 8th grade?
Through 8th grade.
You could help me with some other good questions too that you think we should get on tape.
I'm sure you. I don't know what you've already covered.
Well, we covered a lot of good stuff. Just wanted to make sure. Just thought about that. Well, Mom was talking about Judy and Old Bess or something.
Bessie.
Yeah.
Julie and Bessie were the two horses that we rode, that I remember riding most.
Did you guys have hired hands on very often, or?
The hired hands were before. I don't remember them that much. Dad always talked about the hired hands, but I didn't. Thrashing time, of course, they always had hired hands, but not
Now,
on a full-time basis.
I saw a picture with a whole bunch of donkeys or mules or something. What was that all about?
I don't.
Before your day?
Yeah, that was before my day. In the hayfield, we always had a lot of horses, but not no donkeys or mules. They were all horses.
And how many acres did you guys have on your ranch when you were growing up?
I think it was around 3,000 acres, and we put up.
Mostly hay, or was there farming too, or?
Oh, if I remember right, there was about 4 or 5 quarters of hay that we put up, native grass hay that we mowed and stacked. And
Did you sell some of the hay, or was it just for the cattle in the wintertime?
it was mostly used for the cattle that Dad had.
How many head of cattle did you guys have when you were growing up?
I don't really remember those numbers. That cow-calf deal, have calves in the spring and sell them in the fall, but there was different deals. That was again one of the deals. We, of course, had to string the hay out to the cattle in the wintertime that we put up in the summertime.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.